Roots above ground starts with the use of chalk to draw these roots, and everyone's drawing is different, but in a way they all relate to one another. This is a performative piece. I feel like I'm watching from an audience. It definitely gives me, the same sense that I would get watching the Alvin Ailey performance or something on Broadway. Like it's high production quality. The use of sign language was definitely unique. And I thought lovely to add that aspect of it, since sign language in a way can seem like such a dance in itself in the movement. And I thought it was so powerful to see dancers in wheelchairs. I've never seen that before. And it changes your perspective on what dance is and what dance can be. I love how every dancer introduces themselves. I love the diversity in the dancers. And it just kind of sets you up with, these are the people that are going to be telling your story. And so you're already connected to them just right away because you're getting some sort of insight into them right off the bat. To see the wheelchair performers not be confined to the wheelchair, that was just so impressive to me. That for me, I feel like that's just where my focus continued to go, because I just found it so amazing. And it just completely changed the way I look at dance. It's just like, yes, of course. Why wouldn't people not do this? The way the wheelchairs moved was so effortless and graceful. And not once did I ever feel like they were disconnected from the rest of the dancers. And it was just so well done. And the production value of this piece was just at such a high level. It was beautiful.
This film is called Roots Above Ground. This was a stunning dance short from the US. A group of 6 worked together to create an amazing piece of art. I loved all the elements and how we are introduced to everyone at first. So rare for us to meet individual dancers so intimately. I really enjoyed how they used the concept of home as one of the themes, and the use of the table was an excellent image that often symbolizes people getting together around the household table. The changing video backdrop really added dimension, like leaves, trees, clouds, water, and I enjoyed the voiceover stories. Very innovative choreography, especially with the 2 wheelchairs, which really added a fast, energetic element to the piece. The sound design, vocals, and percussions were all beautifully done. I loved how the chalk on the floor that initially separated them blended together by the end as they bonded. This film is so memorable. Great job.
It's hard to even express how beautiful Roots Above Ground was. Every second of it was captivating and compelling, and I think the quote that it opens with of, the message behind what the dancers are telling of, there are multiple meanings of home, and peeling back the layers to uncover the human's need for belonging, was told so artfully throughout the whole narrative. Having each dancer come forward to introduce themselves and tell a bit of their story was so beautiful, and it made you feel more connected to them as they individually dance and as they danced as a collective. And the dancing itself was just beautiful, and I was floored by the talent of every single one of these dancers. How they were able to express such a heavy message so lightly and through their bodies was astounding, and the lighting and the staging and the effects of them writing in chalk and having it projected on the screens all came together to carry this beautiful message, and I was just wowed. The dancers are amazing, and this video really captures their essence, which is so hard to do.
Roots Above Ground is a really interesting, like full length, performance of all these people, and who they are. And I really think it was really well done by all the dancers and everything. I think the lighting and the staging was great, and I just really love the lighting too. And yeah, I really think it's a good job by everyone involved, because it's obviously a lot of stuff was involved in making that. So yeah, I think everyone did a great job.
The Roots Above was visually stunning. Really keeps you kind of captured into the story the whole time. Tonally, it was poetic. The choreography and score worked so well together. The lighting highlights the passage of time, which I thought was cool on a thematic level. It plays on that title, again, that theme of roots, ancestry is what I was, feeling from it. It had a very diverse and inclusive cast, which I think was the highlight of it all. And
Roots Above Ground. I loved this title card blending in with the existing art in the background, especially since I think the background was done on the stage and the title card was done in post. I thought it was a really nice way to blend in with the existing art in the background. And honestly, it was one of the most diverse pieces I've seen in a minute. A disabled black man speaking ASL on the screen. Checking all the boxes here for me. Like, how often do we get to see this on stage, let alone a screen? And it's a rarity, and it shouldn't be. I like this rhythm that they are building here, the mix between the basics of getting your hands dirty and using the chalk versus the smartboard going on behind them. And it really does feel like you're at the theater, even though, yes, I am right here at home. And that's what we get from the atmosphere of this production design. I think this goes to show that no matter where you are at in your journey, that you're able to move, you're able to use your body to heal in the form of the movement of art. And I noticed my eyes darting about the cast here and taking each of them in different moments in time. And it is then the camera moves in closer, giving each dancer their moment in the spotlight. And I really enjoy how they are utilizing their gifts and their strengths to really expand the dance and the form of movement that's happening here on the stage. There's sort of a beauty and strength that forms here 20 minutes into the piece. This is the sequence that stands out to me the most, and I'm beginning to wonder if this powder on the ground is for the sake of the technique of dance, or if it follows in suit with the building chalk metaphor. I love how this performance was built for all. The project was made for all backgrounds. This close-up with this dancer in the water made me feel like I was swimming with him in the body of water. I love this fade to black, almost black, as we get to sit in the rain. It's rarity for Los Angeles to get some rain. So it kind of took me back to a moment where it felt like I was sitting on the front porch watching the storm pass by. This dance sequence leading up to this moment may just be my favorite out of the whole piece. It felt compelling to me, as if a part of me was waiting for this moment to happen. The art department is killing it with these transitions. The amount of strength, team building, and trust that goes into carrying a table on stage for someone to then dance on top of. Having a seat at the table means your voice is being heard, and I thought this was a solid ensemble cast, and I really loved the pace of it all, and I enjoyed this piece.
This dance piece was very immersive and creative. I loved that they told us their stories and that they were inclusive, where a couple of their dancers were in wheelchairs, they were of different races, that they used sign language to communicate so everybody could understand what they were saying. They were very conscious of being aware of who they are in their surroundings. Their stories showing that what their roots are, who they are as a person, but then bringing them up above ground is a great metaphor, where it shows that your past, your roots, really can define a person and who they are and how they live. It essentially brings them above ground to establish what your identity is as a person. That's what I got from this dance, and it's amazing. I loved the use of chalk. I absolutely loved the use of chalk, in that first it was showing up as they drew up on the screen above through animation, and then as they told their stories, it continued to write with their names, and then as they danced, they physically became the chalk up above. It was showing us their dance, and as it continued, the chalk dispersed, but you still saw the story they were telling about their roots becoming who they are and established within their identity as people.
All right, I just finished watching Roots Above Ground, which I thought was incredibly well done. It had a really strong sort of blended aesthetic of spoken word, theater performances, and obviously dance performances that really were quite striking. There was a very diverse cast that was all powerful and interesting and on their own. But I thought the wheelchair bound individuals really created a dynamic that is unique and that you don't normally see in this space. That really made it feel like an original piece that went beyond just the performances, but turned into a sort of a full concept of expressing yourself through art and being yourself through finding yourself through art and knowing how to sort of take your limitations or what might be appear to be your limitations and turn it into something extraordinary. So I felt like the piece really great at sort of showing how you can transform dark feelings or emotions or experiences and turn it into very powerful experiences and expressions of love and compassion that end up creating community. So I thought this piece was very well done and clearly was a passion project that worked well for someone like me.